about the Natural Resources and Outdoor Recreation Trust Fund. The question is, can legislatures and the governor legally not activate and fund a law that was voted on and passed by the citizens and taxpayers of Iowa?
Well, I'm not sure that question would be accurate. I mean, the way the constitutional amendment was passed and ratified the voters was if the sales tax increases, then the first 3/8 cents has to go into the trust. These guys have beat my head against this wall for years, this particular topic, but I would have to just correct the basis of the question. It wasn't that it passed and it legally should be happening here, because the entire question put before, and this is what kind of irritates me a little bit about this whole problem, is that I don't know why none of us were around here back then, so I feel like we can take shots, right? But I don't know why the previous two General Assemblies back in 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 would put forward a constitutional amendment before voters to help fund some of these projects and say, if this happens, then this shall happen, which, fine, I guess, but then have no dang plan afterwards. No? Okay, I was going to say, you've heard me go on this rant before here, right? So let me just go. So for people who don't know about this, man, I just had I met with the Iowa Association of Counties Conservation Directors yesterday, and I had a good hour-long discussion on this, and it was less discussion, more of me just venting. But what makes me mad, so we have a plan right now, and it probably won't have much traction this year because we're not really in a property tax year. That'll be next year. But we have a plan out there right now. Well, so basically, again, I need to back up here, is that in 2010, Iowa voters went to the ballot box and they ratified an amendment to the Iowa Constitution that funded a variety of trails, water quality programs, soil conservation programs, park improvements, and said if the sales tax ever increases 3/8 cents, then those first, let's say you increase to 0.5%, right, or 0.5 or 1%, that first 3/8 has to go into the trust, right, to finally fill up to build upon those programs and everything. So that was fine and dandy. It passed, and it passed resoundingly by over 60% of the voters passed and ratified it at the ballot box. And then both House and Senate come back that next year and produce no plans whatsoever. They produced no plans in 2011, 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, you go on down there. A couple people might file bills out there, but nothing really got traction. And primarily the biggest reason why, which also perplexes me a little bit, because some of the same entities out there that were pushing us at the ballot box also believe that the sales tax is a regressive tax and we shouldn't raise it. Well, frankly, it's like you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't turn around and sell Iowans a lie saying, hey, we're going to fund all these programs through a sales tax, and then turn around and compete against the sales tax and say it's a regressive tax and it hits the poor, right? Like I just don't think it's not having an honest conversation on tax policy and trying to get this trust bill. So what we did a few years ago, and still working through, and I got the idea from the mayor and council-bluffs, not initially related to this, but we have a proposal forward which would do essentially is standardize the local option sales tax in the state of Iowa. We have 99 counties and over 940, about 940 municipalities in the state. Only 42 of the 1,040 jurisdictions left, only 42 don't have a local option sales tax. So what we do is we raise the state sales tax levy, get rid of the local option sales tax as an option and make it a mandate, and then by doing that, most Iowans, for everyone here in Council-Bluffs and Carter Lake, with still the 7% sales tax, you wouldn't see anything on it, but actually would trigger the trust to start to fund those programs. And as I was talking to County Conservation Association yesterday, it's like, that's the one thing I am proud of. At least we got the process started, because this is not a House thing, but the reality is, like, the Senate Ways and Means is the only committee since 2010, when that thing was ratified, to ever put a bill forward and actually run it out of subcommittee and actually run it out of committee. I think if we're going to get this done, it's probably the only way it's going to get done, because if you do a mass sales tax increase across all Iowans, it's just gonna get pushback. I mean, look over across the river in Nebraska right now. Governor Pillen wants to do a 40% property tax cut, and he wants to raise the sales tax 2 cents, right? And tax a bunch of other products. That thing seems to be hitting stall speed over there because you bring a lot more opposition, and when you do that, there's a lot of difference in opinions. I think they're gonna try to do a special session later on this year, because he's pretty adamant about it. Unique, governors actually getting tips from legislators on things, so. Anyway, that's probably a lot more than people want to hear, I'm not sure the question's accurate, but it does frustrate me a little bit, because I genuinely do believe this is probably the only way we get this done, where most Iowans won't see a sales tax increase, but we are able to fund the trust. So.